Good day, everyone. Today, we will be presenting our report on the performance report standards for cooperatives. This report explains the guidelines and standards used to evaluate how cooperatives operate, manage their resources, and fulfill their responsibilities to their members. The presentation is divided into several sections, which each member assigns specific parts. I will be discussing sections 1 to 4, which include the title, legal basis, definition of terms, and purposes of the performance report. Sections 5 to 9 will be presented by Mr. Tagolinaw, sections 10 to 13 by Mr. Sulad, while Ms. Yan will provide a further elaboration on the topic. Lastly, Ms. Tute will present the summary and significance of the report. Through this presentation, we aim to help everyone better understand the importance of performance reporting in ensuring transparency, accountability, and effective management in cooperatives. Let me begin with section 1, which is the title. This section establishes the official name of the regulatory document. It states that the memorandum circular shall be known as the Performance Report Standards for Cooperatives. This section is important because it introduces the document and clearly identifies its purpose to provide standardized guidelines for annual performance reporting. These guidelines apply to all cooperatives registered with the Cooperative Development Authority or CDA, ensuring uniformity and consistency in reporting across cooperatives. Next is Section 2, the legal basis. This section explains the legal foundation of the performance report standards. It is based on Republic Act number 9520, also known as the Philippine Cooperative Code of 2008, and its implementing rules and regulations. Specifically, this section is supported by three key provisions. First, Article 53 of Republic Act 9520, which requires every cooperative to prepare regular reports of its program and activities, including social-civic undertakings, and to show their progress and achievements at the end of each fiscal year. Second, Article 80 of Republic Act 9520, which states that all registered cooperatives are subject to annual financial performance and social audits. And third, Rule 8, Section 2 of the IRR of Republic Act 9520, which identifies the performance report as a mandatory report that must be submitted to the CDA, together with other required documents such as financial statements and social audit reports. Overall, this section emphasizes that the submission of performance report is not optional but a legal obligation of cooperatives. Moving on to Section 3, Definition of Terms. This section provides clear definitions of important terms used in performance report standards. These definitions help ensure that all cooperatives have a common understanding when preparing and submitting their reports. Some of the key terms include accountable officers, which refer to board members, committee members, and key officers such as the general manager, secretary, and treasurer. For performance reporting, this also includes the internal auditor and the chairman of the board, who may be held liable for penalties in case of late or non-submission. Oversight function, which refers to the role of the board of directors in monitoring and supervising the cooperative's program, activities, and policies. Performance audit, which is an evaluation conducted by the internal auditor of the audit committee to assess the cooperative's organizational, economic, and social performance. Performance report, which is the required annual report submitted to the CDA, composed of the performance report questionnaire and the performance audit report. PISO, which stands for Profitability, Institutional Strength, Structure of Assets, and Operational Strength, used as financial indicators of cooperative performance. Responsibility Center, which refers to the different offices and committees responsible for planning and managing cooperative operations. Lastly, the Social Development Plan, which refers to the cooperative's written plans for social services that benefit members, the community, and the nation. Finally, Section 4 discusses the purposes of the performance report. This section highlights that the performance report serves two major purposes. First, it acts as a regulatory and supervisory tool for the CDA. Through these reports, the CDA can assess cooperative performance and design appropriate development programs and interventions. Second, it serves as a management tool for cooperatives themselves. It helps cooperatives identify problem areas in their operation and determine their overall financial, organizational, and social health. In summary, the performance report is not only a compliance requirement but also a valuable tool for improvement and development. And that concludes my discussion for section 1 to 4 of the performance report standards for cooperatives. Thank you for listening.
Good day, everyone. Today, I'll be discussing selected sections of the Cooperative Performance Audit Guidelines, especially sections 5, 6, 8, and 9. These sections help us understand who the guidelines apply to and what areas are audited and who is responsible for the audit tools and how the performance questionnaire should be accomplished. Let us start with section 5, which talks about coverage. This section explains that the guidelines apply to all registered cooperatives, regardless of their types or category. This means whether the cooperative is small or large, financial or non-financial, they are all covered by the same rules. And the purpose of this is to ensure fairness and consistency so that no cooperative is exempted and everyone is evaluated using the same standards. Why coverage is important? This section is important because it promotes accountability. Since all cooperatives are included, they are encouraged to comply with standards and improve their operations. And it also helps government agencies and auditors to compare the performance more accurately because everyone is following the same guideline. Next is section 6, which focuses on the scope of the performance audit. This section explains what areas are being checked during the audit. Unlike regular audits that focus only on money, this performance audit looks at the multiple aspects of the cooperatives, including leadership, internal systems, financial performance, and social responsibility. First, leadership and human resource management are evaluated to see how well the cooperative is being managed and how members and employees are treated. And second is the internal control system, which is examined to ensure that there are proper policies and safeguards in the place in the cooperative. And third, financial performance is assessed using PISO standards, which look at the productivity, income, solvency, and operational efficiency. And of course, lastly, the audit checks the cooperative social development plan and how the community development fund is used to benefit members and the community. Moving on to section 8, this section introduces the performance report questionnaire. This questionnaire is a tool used during the performance audit to collect necessary information. And the responsibility of accomplishing this tool belongs to the internal auditor. However, if there is no internal auditor available, then the audit committee is tasked to complete it instead. And this ensures that the audit process continues even in the absence of an internal auditor. Let us proceed to the importance of the questionnaire. The questionnaire is important because it serves as a standardized way of gathering information. It also helps ensure that all cooperatives are assessed using the same criteria. It also provides documentation that supports the audit findings. Now, on to the section 9. This section explains how the performance report questionnaire should be answered. It also provides instructional guidelines to make sure that responses are accurate and consistent. According to this section, the questionnaire is divided into four major components. each focusing on a different area of cooperative performance. The first component is the basic information, which usually covers the general detail about the cooperative, like its name, type, and basic profile. The second component focuses on the non-financial aspect. This part looks at how the cooperative operates as an organization, how it performs socially, and whether its internal controls are effective. And even if a cooperative earns well, these areas are still important in measuring overall performance. The third component of the questionnaire is the financial component. This part includes the cooperative's financial information, such as data needed to assess its financial condition and the computation of selected financial ratios. And these ratios help measure how stable and efficient as well as sustainable the cooperative is. And lastly, we have the rating system. This is where all the results from the previous components are summarized. The cooperative is a given total of score and an objective rating such as how well it performed overall. This makes it easier to understand the cooperative's performance at a glance. Section 9 does not only tell us what to answer, but also how the answers are organized, from basic information to non-financial and financial performance, and finally to the overall rating of the cooperative performance. In overall, Section 9 makes sure that the questionnaire is answered in an organized and complete way. So the performance audit becomes more accurate, fair, and easy to interpret.
Section 10 Performance Audit Report. The Performance Audit Report is a formal document that presents the results of the assessment of a cooperative's operations, governance, and overall performance during a given audit period. It serves as a management tool for improvement, compliance, and accountability. So binubuo o ina-assess ng performance audit report kung gaano kahusay pinamamahalaan at pinapatakbo ang isang kooperatiba. Tinutukoy ang mga kalakasan at kahinaan nito at nagsisilbing gabay sa mga hakbang na nagpapabuti upang matiyak ang pagsunod sa mga lituntunin at pananagutan nito. The presentation of the performance audit report shall at least include the following parts. Number 1 is executive summary. Next is objectives and scope of the audit. Next is observations and findings. And lastly is the recommendations. So under the performance audit report, we have the executive summary. Ang executive summary ay nagbibigay ng maikli, ngunit komprehensibong pangkalatang ideya ng isinasagawang audit. Ipinapakita nito ang layunin ng audit, saklaw na sinusuri, mahalagang natuklasan, pangkalatang konklusyon, at mga pangunahing rekomendasyon. Ang baging ito ay nagbibigay daan sa mga evaluator tulad ng Board of Directors, Management, and city officials upang agad na maunawan ang kalagayan at performance ng kooperatiba nang hindi na kailangang basahin ang buong report. Contents of executive summary typically include brief background of the cooperatives, a short description of the cooperative including when it was established, its main purpose, and who its members are. Next is audit objectives and period covered. It explains why the audit was conducted and what time period or year of operations was reviewed. Next is summary of strengths and good practices. It highlights the things the cooperative is doing well and the good practices observed. Next is summary of major issues or weaknesses. It identifies the main problems or areas where the cooperative needs improvement. And lastly, recommendations for improvement. It provides suggestions or actions the cooperative should take to improve operations and address the identified issues. So next is we have the objectives and scope of the audit. Ipinapaliwanag sa baging ito kung bakit isinasagawang audit o pagsusuri at anong bahagi ng kooperatibang sinuri. Ipinapakita rin ito kung anong kasama at anong hindi sa audit para maging mas malinaw at madaling maintindihan ito. Objectives may include assessing compliance with the cooperative code and city regulations, checking if the cooperative is following the laws and rules set by the government and the CDA. Next is evaluating efficiency and effectiveness of operations, seeing if the cooperative is running smoothly and doing things the right way to meet its goals. Next is reviewing financial sustainability and internal controls, making sure the cooperative manages its money well and has systems in place to prevent mistakes or fraud. And lastly, determining the quality of services delivered to members, checking if the cooperative provides good services that meet the needs of its members. Ang scope of the audit may include specific operational areas reviewed, for example, finance, governance, membership, and projects. Next is period covered. And lastly, methods used. For example, document review, interviews, and site reviews. Next is observation and findings. From the word itself, ipinapakita nito ng malinaw at maayos ang mga magandang nagawa at mga problemang naranasan ng kooperatiba sa panahon ng pag-audit. Dapat ilahad sa ulat ang sapat na detalye upang madaling maunawaan at mapatunayan ang mga obserbasyon at natuklasan. Observation may include strong internal controls. Example is a well-organized system to ensure money and resources are used correctly and safely. Efficient loan processing systems. Loans are processed quickly and smoothly for members. Weak documentation practices. Record keeping and document management are weak or incomplete. Non-compliance with certain CDA circulars. Some rules or guidelines from the CDA are not being followed. And findings should clearly explain what was observed. The report should clearly describe what was seen or noticed in the cooperative. Indicate the impact on operation or members. It should show how the observation affects the cooperative's operation for its members. Be factual, objective, and evidence-based. The report must be based on facts, free from personal opinions, and supported by evidences. And lastly, we have the recommendations. Pinapakita nito ang mga tiyak na mungkahi para sa kooperatiba kung paano pananatili ng mga magagandang gawain o kung paano ayusin ang mga kahinaan na natuklasan. Dapat malinaw at eksakto ang rekomendasyon upang malaman kung anong aksyon na kailangang gawin. Ang mga mungkahing ito rin ang nagiging batayan para sa mga susunod na audit, pagsusuri o pagsusuri ng operasyon. Good recommendations should be clear and precise. They should be easy to understand and specify exactly what needs to be done. Realistic and achievable. They should be practical and possible to implement. Link directly to the findings. They should address the actual problems or strengths identified in the audit. Assigned to responsible officers or bodies. It should be clear who is responsible for carrying out the recommendation. Purpose. Its purpose is to improve cooperative performance, to make the cooperative's operations and management better, strengthen compliance and governance, to ensure rules are followed and leadership is more effective, and lastly, enhance service delivery to members, to provide better services and satisfaction to cooperative members. So for example, sa performance audit report, sinurin ang operasyon, pamamahal at serbisyo ng ABC Multipurpose Cooperative para sa taong 2025. Napag-alaman ng maayos ang internal controls at may bilis ang proseso ng pautang, kaya ligtas ang pondo at magandang serbisyo sa mga miyembro. Napansin din na kulang ang dokumentasyon at may ilang patakaran ng CDA na hindi nasunod, na pwedeng magdulot ng problema at makakaapekto sa kredibilidad ng kooperatiba. Inirekomenda na panatilihin ang magandang gawain, ayusin ang dokumentasyon at siguraduhin na susunod ang lahat ng CDA rules. So sa kabuuan, mahalagang performance audit report sa kooperatiba dahil nagbibigay ito ng tapat at malinaw na larawan ng kalagayan ng kooperatiba at nagsisilbing batayan upang mapabuti ang pamamahala, maitama ang mga pagkukulang, at masigurong maayos at alinsunod sa regulasyon ng operasyon nito. Section 11, Provision of Non-Monetary Incentives. Cooperatives who garnered a rating of excellent or very satisfactory performance shall be entitled to non-monetary incentives from the CDA. Ibig sabihin, hindi ito pera, ngunit mga privilege at pagkilala na mahalaga sa imahe at operasyon ng isang kooperatiba. These incentives include: number 1, a seal of excellence. A formal recognition signed by the CDA chairman demonstrates credibility and good performance. Ang Seal of Excellence ay nagsisilbing patunay ng kredibilidad at maaaring magpataas ng tiwala ng mga miyembro, partners, at iba pang institusyon sa kooperatiba. Number 2, inclusion in the special corner of the CDA website. Featured in a special section highlighting high-performing cooperatives. Improves visibility and reputation. Sa pamamagitan nito ay mas nakikilala ang kooperatiba ng publiko, investors, at iba pang ahensya. Malaki ang naitutulong nito dahil sa pagpapaganda ng reputasyon at sa pagbubukas ng mas maraming oportunidad tulad ng partnerships at proyekto. Number 3, immediate issuance of a certificate of good standing. No need to submit additional documentary requirements for the covered year. Karaniwan, kapag ang isang kooperatiba ay kukuha ng Certificate of Good Standing, kailangan pa nilang magsumite ng mga dokumento, patunay na updated ang mga reports, at dumaan pa sa proseso ng evaluation. Pero kung ang kooperatiba ay nakakuha ng excellent o very satisfactory rating, hindi na ito kailangan gawin. Malaki ang naitutulong nito dahil pinapadali at pinapabilis nito ang operasyon ng kooperatiba. Sa kabuuan, ang Section 11 ay tungkol sa mga non-monetary incentives na ibinibigay ng CDA sa mga kooperatibang may excellent o very satisfactory rating. Kahit hindi ito pera, malaking tulong ang mga ito dahil pinapalakas ang tiwala, pinapaganda pangalan, at pinapadali ang proseso para sa kooperatiba. Mas nagiging credible sila, mas nakikilala ng publiko, at mas mabilis silang nakakapag-transact dahil wala ng maraming papeles sa proseso. Halimbawa, ang mga emerging cooperatives ay kadalasang may limitadong pondo, kagamitan at koneksyon. Kapag ang isang emerging cooperative ay nakakuha ng excellent o very satisfactory rating, malaking tulong ito sa kanilang paglago. Ang pagkakaroon ng non-monetary incentives mula sa CDA ay nagpapadali sa kooperatiba na makuha ng suporta tulad ng pondo, pautang, training at shared services mula sa ibang kooperatiba. Sa ganitong paraan, ang mga non-monetary incentives ng CDA ay nagsisilbing tulay para lumakas ang emerging cooperatives at mas marami silang matulungan na miyembro sa kanilang komunidad. Section 12, Period of Submission and Sanctions. The performance report shall be submitted by the cooperative to the CDA not later than 120 days from the end of each calendar year. Ibig sabihin may takdang oras o deadline para isumite ang report at mahalaga itong sundin upang maging maayos ang monitoring at evaluation ng CDA. Sanctions for non-compliance. Penalty is 100 pesos per day of delay. Ang legal na basal nito ay mula sa Rule 8, Section 7 ng Implementing Rules and Regulations o IRR ng Republic Act 9520 na siyang batas na nagtatakda ng mga regulasyon para sa mga kooperatiba. Additional sanctions. Possible cancellation of registration. Kung patuloy o seryoso ang hindi pagsunod, maaaring kanselahin ang mga legal na pagkarehistro ng kooperatiba. Requirement to merge or consolidate with another cooperative in the same area. Maaaring utusan ng kooperatiba na mag-merge o mag-consolidate sa isa pang kooperatiba sa parehong lugar upang masigurong maayos ang pamamalakad at serbisyo para sa mga miyembro. Sa madaling salita, ang Section 12 ay naglalayong tiyakin na ang lahat ng kooperatiba ay sumusunod sa tamang oras ng pagsumite ng report. Ang mga parusa ay paraan ng pagsisiguro na responsableng pamamalakad at ang kooperatiba ay nananatiling lehitimo at maayos sa mata ng batas at ng miyembro. Section 13, Consolidation of Performance Reports. Ang Section 13 ay tumutukoy sa proseso ng consolidation at evaluation ng performance reports ng mga kooperatiba. Layunin nito na masigurong maayos, sistematiko at patas ang mga pagsusuri ng lahat ng kooperatiba sa bansa. Ang pagsasama-sama at pagsusuri-suri ng performance reports ng mga kooperatiba ay may malinaw at organisadong proseso sa loob ng CDA. Responsibilities: Cooperative Project Development and Assistance Section of every CDA Extension Offices. Sila ang nagsasama-sama ng mga ulat mula sa lahat ng kooperatiba sa kanilang nasasakupan. Pagkatapos, isasabit nila ang mga consolidated report sa sentral na opisina sa loob ng 60 days mula sa submission deadline ng mga kooperatiba. Sa pamamagitan nito, mas nakokontrol at mas naorganisa ang mga datos mula sa lokal hanggang pambansang antas. Development and Assistance Division of the CDA Central Office. Sila ang nagre-review at nag-evaluate ng mga ulat sa national level. Sinisigurado nila na tama, kumpleto at maayos ang lahat ng datos bago isumite sa Board of Administrators. Ang resulta ng pagsusuri ay sasubmit sa CDA Board of Administrators sa pamamagitan ng Executive Director. Regulatory Units. Tumatanggap ng kopya ng consolidated reports para sa karagdagang analysis at assessment. Ginagawa ito upang masigurong walang naiwan o nakaligtaan at para sa mga mas detalyadong monitoring sa performance ng bawat kooperatiba. Sa madaling salita, ang buong proseso ay parang chain of review mula sa lokal o extension office to central office to Board of Administrators to regulatory units. Sa ganitong paraan, lahat ng performance reports ay maayos na naitatala, nasusuri at nare-review. At nagiging batayan ng pagkilala, insentibo o anumang aksyon ng kooperatiba. Section 13, Effectivity. Ang circular na ito ay naging epektibo 15 days matapos itong mailathala sa Official Gazette o sa isang payagan na may malawak na sirkulasyon at nakarehistro sa Office of National Administrative Register o ONAR. Ibig sabihin, mula sa araw na iyon, opisyal na susundin ang mga nakasaad sa circular. Approval. Inaprobahan ang circular ng CDA Board of Administrator noong February 7, 2013 sa ilalim ng BOA or BOA Resolution No. 057 Series of 2013. Ibig sabihin, opisyal na ito at may bisa dahil dumaan ito sa proseso ng board approval. Sa madaling sabi, ang effectivity ay kung kailan magsisimulang ipatupad ang circular. At ang approval naman ay opisyal na aprobado ng board at may legal na bisa.
Good day, everyone. Today, I will be presenting the Cooperative Performance Report Questionnaire or the CPRQ. So, what is a Cooperative Performance Report Questionnaire? The Cooperative Performance Report Questionnaire or the CPRQ is the official performance evaluation tool prescribed by the Cooperative Development Authority under Memorandum Circular Number 2013-15. It is a standardized and structured questionnaire designed to assess a cooperative's overall performance, particularly in terms of governance, sustainability, and legal compliance. The CPRQ evaluates both non-financial and financial aspects of cooperative operation using a weighted scoring system of 65% for non-financial performance and 35% for financial performance. In general, the CPRQ is composed of three major components, which are number 1, the basic cooperative information, number 2, non-financial performance indicators, and number 3, financial performance indicators.
So, to begin with our discussion, let us first look at the foundation of the report, which is the basic cooperative information. These components gathers the general profile and legal identity of the cooperative. It serves as the foundation of the CBRQ performance evaluation. All required information under this section is sourced from official CDA documents and must be accurate and consistent. The information includes the official name of the cooperative, based on the latest amendment, if any, the cooperative's identification number or CIN, CDA registration number, and registration date, the actual principal office address, the type, category, and size of the cooperative, the total number of members, and the fiscal year covered by the report. It is important to note that all details must match the certificate of registration, articles of cooperation, and other official documents. Once the cooperative identity is clearly established, we now proceed to the non-financial performance indicators, which carry the highest weight in the CPRQ. The non-financial performance indicators account for 65% of the total CPRQ score. These components evaluate the cooperative's organizational capability, governance system, social responsibility, and compliance with laws and regulation. All questions in this section are answered using yes or no. Each yes answer must be supported by documents listed under the means of verification. A yes earns a corresponding standard point, while a no earns 0 point. The first area under this component is the organizational structure and management. This area assesses the cooperative leadership and management structure. Indicators include the existence of a duly elected board of directors, the presence of functional committees, a clearly defined organizational structure, and well-defined roles and responsibilities of officers and staff. Strong leadership and management ensure accountability, transparency, and effective operation. From organizational structure, we now move to planning and member involvement. This slide discusses two important non-financial areas. First is plans, programs, and policies. This area measures how well the cooperative plans, organize, and control its operations. Indicators include approved strategic and development plans, annual operational plans and approved budgets, written policies, manuals and procedures, and an adequate and effective internal control system. Second is membership and participation, which evaluates the level of member involvement in cooperative affairs. Indicators include regular conduct of General Assembly meetings, compliance with quorums and attendance requirement, implementation of member education and training programs, and proper dissemination of information to members. Effective planning supports sustainability, while active membership strengthens transparency and cooperative ownership. Next, we examine the cooperative responsibility to the community and its compliance with the law. This slide covers the remaining two areas under the non-financial component. First is social and community responsibility. This area measures the cooperative commitment to community development and social concerns. Indicators include community outreach and development programs, environmental protection initiatives, and participation in social, economic, and cooperative development activities. Second is compliance with laws and regulations. This area evaluates adherence to legal, regulatory, and ethical standards. Indicators include timely submission of mandatory CDA reports, compliance with cooperative bylaws and policies, and adherence to ethical standards and principle of good governance. These indicators ensures that the cooperative operates responsibly, ethically, and within the law. After discussing the non-financial aspects, we now proceed to the financial performance indicators. The financial performance indicators account for 35% of the total CPRQ score. This component assesses the cooperative financial condition, stability, and sustainability based on information from audited financial statements. The required financial data includes the statement of financial position, statement of operations, cash flow statements, and notes to financial statements. All required financial information must be completely filled in. If an item is not applicable, it should be indicated as NA or 0. This component provides a clear picture of how effectively the cooperative manages its financial resources. To further evaluate financial performance, CPRQ uses a standard financial framework. The CPRQ adopts the PISO framework to evaluate financial performance across four key dimensions. P stands for profitability, which looks at net surplus and return on assets. I refers to institutional strengths, focusing on capital buildup and reserves. S stands for structure of assets, which evaluates asset composition and liquidity. O represent operational strength, measuring efficiency and cost management. The CPRQ also applies a scoring and rating system. The non-financial component has a weight of 65%, while the financial component has 35%. These weighted scores are combined to determine the cooperative's overall performance rating. Based on the total score, cooperatives are given adjectival rating such as excellent, very satisfactory, satisfactory, fair, or needs improvement. Remember that rating scales vary depending on the cooperative size and category as prescribed by the CDA. Despite these standards, cooperatives still face several challenges, which I will discuss next. Cooperatives commonly encounter challenges that affect their CBRQ performance. This includes incomplete documentation such as missing articles of cooperation or amended certificates, weak governance structures including the absence of functional committees or unclear officer roles, limited member participation shown by low attendance in general assemblies or limited training participation, inadequate internal controls leading to poor monitoring of assets and records, and financial management issues such as insufficient capital buildup, weak liquidity, or poor cost management. Recognizing these challenges is the first step toward improving performance and compliance. To address these issues, cooperative must meet specific compliance requirements. To ensure compliance and improve CPRQ ratings, cooperative must strictly observe the following requirements. It includes the timely submission of CDA mandated reports, adherence to RA 9520 and cooperative bylaws, proper record keeping and documentation, implementation of approved plans, policies, and internal controls, and observance of ethical standards and principles of good governance. Consistent compliance strengthens credibility, transparency, and sustainability. Beyond compliance, cooperatives are encouraged to pursue excellence through another performance framework. The Co-op Pesos, or the Cooperative Performance Excellence Standards, is a complementary framework designed to promote excellence, sustainability, and global competitiveness among cooperatives. While the CPRQ focuses on compliance and standard performance measurement, Co-op Pesos emphasizes leadership and governance excellence, strategic planning and innovation, member and customer satisfaction, operational efficiency and results, and social responsibility and sustainability. Co-op Pesos encourages cooperatives to go beyond compliance and continuously improve their system, processes, and service in line with international performance excellence standards. In conclusion, the CPRQ and the co-op pesos together guide cooperatives towards strong governance, financial stability, and long-term sustainability.
The Memorandum Circular Number 2013-15 issued by the Cooperative Development Authority in 2013 serves as a vital blueprint for the governance and operational transparency of cooperatives throughout the Philippines. By establishing the performance report standards, this document moved away from vague reporting and introduced a rigorous, standardized framework that ensures every cooperative, regardless of its size, is held to the same high expectations of accountability toward its members and the national government. At the heart of this policy is the mandatory annual performance report, which is far more complex than a standard administrative filing. It requires a dual approach, combining a comprehensive questionnaire with a formal audit report to create a high definition picture of the organization's current state. One of the most critical aspects of this evaluation is the assessment of organizational health, which scrutinizes the effectiveness of the leadership, the fairness of human resource management, and the integrity of the cooperative's internal systems. To measure financial viability, the circular utilizes the PISA standard, an acronym that tracks profitability, institutional strength, the structure of assets, and operational efficiency. Unlike traditional businesses that solely focus on the bottom line, this framework also heavily weighs social impact, examining how a cooperative executes its social development plan and manages its community development fund to improve the lives of the public. The significance of this circular is best understood through its role as both a roadmap for growth and a health check for survival. For CDA, these standardized reports function as a regulatory lens, allowing the government to identify which sectors are thriving and which require urgent developmental intervention. For the cooperatives themselves, the reporting process acts as a mirror, forcing management to confront operational weaknesses and um, internal control gaps before they escalate into terminal failures. This proactive approach is encouraged by a system of rewards and penalties, while high-performing organizations can earn a prestigious seal of excellence and expedited government services. Those who fail to comply face daily fines levied against their accountable officers. Ultimately, the true value of this document lies in the protection it offers to individual members. By mandating audits of ethics and leadership, the circular ensures that those in power are held to professional standards, fostering a culture of transparency. It reinforces the idea that a cooperative is not just a financial entity, but a reliable vehicle for social and economic progress, ensuring that the hard earned resources of its members are managed with the highest level of integrity.